the Honorable Minister for Transport, Honorable Kweku Ofori Asiamah, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Transport and MP for Upper West Akim, Honorable Frederick Obin Adom, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Transport and Member of Parliament for Gushegu Constituency, Honorable Hassan Tampuli, the Acting Chief Director of the Ministry of Transport, directors from the Ministry of Transport, heads of agencies, the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to the Minister's press briefing here at the Ministry of Information. This afternoon, we are honored to receive the Minister for Transport and his entourage from the ministry, who are here to talk to us about some key developments and milestones chalked by the Ministry of Transport. As you are aware, the Ministry for Transport and also of Aviation were made, and since then we've only had the privilege today to meet the Honorable Minister for him to give us a brief and also get the journalists present to ask their questions. Before I go on to invite the Honorable Minister to take the podium, kindly permit me to acknowledge some dignitaries who have joined us here at the Ministry of Information this afternoon. First of all, we have the Director General for National Road Safety Authority, Mrs. May Obri Yeboah. We also have the Director General of Ghana Ports Company Limited, Mr. Yao Kwekua. Kwakwa. Okay. So we have Mr. Yao Kwakwa, who is the Director General Ghana Airport Company Limited. We also have the MD for Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Charles Kweku. We also have the AG Principal, Ghana Technical Training Center, Mr. Emmanuel Kwafo. We also have the AG Chief Director, Mrs. Mabel Sego. And we have the Deputy Minister for Transport and Member of Parliament for Upper West Akim, Honorable Frederick Obin Adom. We have the Deputy Minister for Transport and Member of Parliament for Gushegu Constituency, Honorable Hassan Tampuli. And we have the Minister for Transport, Honorable Kweku Ofori Asiamah, with us this afternoon. So, permit me to invite the Honorable Minister for Transport to bring us the good news. Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you very much, Deputy Minister of Information. The Honorable Minister for Information, a Member of Parliament for Ofuasi Ayubi, Kojo, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, Honorable Deputy Ministers of Transport and Ministry of Information, the Acting Chief Director of Ministry of Transport, the Chief Director of Ministry of Information, heads of institutions, the media, invited guests, good afternoon. It is indeed an honor for me to stand before you this afternoon, since my last appearance on this same platform in 2018 and my reappointment as the Minister for Transport. I have the responsibility to share with you this afternoon some key development in the transport sector. It is important to note that the Ministry of Transport has been merged with the Ministry of Aviation. The ministry is now responsible for the maritime and inland water, road transport services, and aviation. The mission of the Ministry of Transport is to provide leadership and guardians for the development of Ghana's transportation system through one, effective policy formulation, market regulation, asset management, service provision, in line with the coordinated program of economic and social development policies, that is 2017 to 2024, the National Medium-Term Development Policy Framework of 2018 to 2021, in the National Transport Policy, the Ministry has embarked on major infrastructure expansion and service improvement in the maritime and inland waterways, aviation, and road transport sector. Some of the key achievements of the sector: the maritime and inland waterways subsector. Prior to 2017, the country's two main seaports of Tema and Takoradi were confronted with a number of challenges. At the port of Tema, the berth capacity was about 11.5 meters draft and could not support modern and deep drafted vessels. At the Takoradi port, it was not better. The maximum berth capacity was 9.5 meters draft, which was also a major constraint for the vessel or the maritime industry is concerned. Bulk carriers could not be operated at the berth, resulting in double handling of cargo as a result of having to break bulk at the anchorage, which invariably leads to additional cost and delays. In effect, there was general dissatisfaction about the efficiency of our ports. The ministry therefore embarked on an aggressive program to modernize the nation's seaport to position them as the leading container hub and the beacon of international trade within West Africa. The Tema port has seen a major infrastructure upgrade within the past 4 years. Some of the works include the development of four berths at the new dedicated container terminal. This has been fully completed and operational. The new terminal is arguably one of the biggest and most efficient terminals in West Africa and thus enhance our competitiveness in the maritime domain. Prior to the commencement of the terminal in 2017, the volume of transshipment cargo was 71,855 tons. But with the coming on stream of the Terminal 3 and the completion of the berth, transshipment volumes have since increased by 5-fold to 366,718 tons as at the end of 2020. We have also seen significant growth in transit cargo to our sister landlocked countries from 862,377 tons in 2016 to almost 1.5 million tons in 2020. That is an increase of about 59.27%. The positive growth in transshipment and transit cargo is a clear indication that we are on course in positioning our ports as the preferred destination for maritime trade within West Africa. At the Takoradi port, the development of the Undocked multipurpose terminal commenced in 2018. The first phase, which involved a joint container and multipurpose terminal with a quay wall of 600 meters, has been completed. The construction of the superstructure and installation of the state-of-the-art equipment for safe and efficient operation of the terminal is currently ongoing. As part of the strategic development of the Takoradi port, the construction of an oil service terminal has been completed and was commissioned in 2020. The terminal has 5 loading and unloading arms to cater for petroleum, diesel, and bitumen product, with plans to expand it to liquefied petroleum gas. The almighty Kita port. The ministry was also committed to providing an enhanced port infrastructure and services to the shipping and trading world. We have recently completed feasibility studies on the development of Ghana's third commercial seaport in Kita in the Volta region. I am happy to note that the feasibility studies have so far indicated that the port of Kita is a viable investment. In the coming days, market sounding forum will be held to announce the project to potential investors as well as inform them about the initiation of the procurement process. And I'm using this medium to invite all prospective investors. On the 8th of November this year, we are going to have a market sounding program to announce the procurement process, because we need to go through a lot of process to announce the procurement process. And I'm inviting all of them to take part either through in person or through Zoom. Bunkra Integrated Logistics Terminal. To facilitate transit trade, especially to landlocked countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the Ministry through Ghana Shippers Authority has engaged a concessionaire to develop an integrated logistics terminal at Bunkra. Preparatory works have commenced, including environmental impact assessment and engineering design, among others. The completion of this project will form part of our strategic transport network to bring import and export services closer to the doorsteps of shippers in the middle and northern part of Ghana, as well as the neighboring landlocked countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Chad. Coastal fish landing site and fishing port. Another area of development under this government is the construction of fish landing sites and fishing harbors along the coast. The artisanal fishing industry has been confronted with poor fishing landing facilities, inadequate storage facilities, high post-harvest losses, unhygienic conditions, and poor handling of fish, among others. The fish landing sites are therefore aimed at ensuring safe launching and landing of artisanal fishing canoes, as well as create and maintain hygienic environment. The project, when completed, will create jobs for the beneficiary communities and also improve their livelihoods. A total of 12 landing sites are being constructed along the coast, and I think it's important that I go through the locations. Axim and Discoff in Western Region, Mori, Manford, Otuam, Abanzi, Winneba, Senyabreku, Gomuafeta in Central Region, Teshi, Osu in Greater Accra Region, and Kita in Volta Region. As well as 2 fishing harbors are also being built, one at Jamestown, another one at Emina. The marine works have progressed substantially, while the onshore facilities, including fish markets, ice-making plant, net mending halls, fuel depots, and daycare centers, among others, are progressing steadily. In addition, some complementary projects as health posts, multi-purpose market facilities have been identified by the beneficiary communities to be constructed as part of the overall development of coastal fish landing site project. Inland water transport. To ensure safe are also being built, one at Jamestown, another one at Emina. The marine works have progressed substantially, while the onshore facilities, including fish markets, ice-making plant, net mending halls, fuel depots, and daycare centers, among others, are progressing steadily. In addition, some complementary projects as health posts, multi-purpose market facilities have been identified by the beneficiary communities to be constructed as part of the overall development of coastal fish landing site project. Inland water transport. To ensure safety of navigation, in order to reduce accident on the Volta Lake, the removal of tree stumps along the navigable route is underway. So far, 3 stumps at Dambai to Dambai Overbank, Yeju to Makango, and Yeju to Agojake crossing route have been removed or cleared. A feasibility study for a proposed Volta Lake improvement project has been completed with the support from the Korean Exim Bank. Facilities to be provided for transportation on the lake include supply of 5 vessels, integrated management systems, construction of a slipway, and 10 landing stages with reception facilities at Akosombo, Yeji, Makango, Kojo Krom, Ketekrachi, Dambai, Dodokope, Pando, Topo, Agodeke, Akatin, and Kwame Dwamna. As I speak, the Korean delegation is in town for a appraisal mission on the project to enable us conclude the financing arrangement. Road transport services sector. For road transport services, government policy is to promote public mass transportation by ensuring that the traveling public commute by some means of higher occupancy bus services. In this respect, government supported the Metro Mass Transit Limited and the Intercity STC Coaches Limited with a total of 200 buses. New intercity buses are also being constructed for MMT, about 100 from a Belgium bank facility. So MMT is also going to get additional 100 units this year. These buses are expected to be delivered by the second quarter of 2022. The buses will be delivered by the second quarter of 2022. Road safety. The ministry, through the National Road Safety Authority, is in collaboration with media houses to embark on an intensive road safety campaigns to reverse the rising trend in road traffic crashes in the country. The mandate of the authority has also been enhanced with the passage of the National Road Safety Act 2019, Act 993. The Act empowers the authority to ensure compliance to road safety measures, procedures, and policies, and also sanction road sector players who do not comply with the road safety regulations and standards. The regulations to operationalize the Act are being finalized and will soon be laid before Parliament for consideration. Additionally, the Road Traffic Act 2004, Act 683, and the Road Traffic Regulation 2012, LI 2180, are undergoing review to address some implementation challenges, as well as incorporating innovations in the management of road transport services. Consultative meetings are ongoing on proposed amendment to the Act and regulation for consideration by Parliament. Indeed, only a few days ago, on the 13th of October 2021, a public consultative forum was held to solicit input toward the review of the regulation. The DVLA in recent times has made significant improvement in its service delivery. From an institution that had low patronage or penetration of ICT and confronted with myriad of challenges to one that epitomizes innovation and efficiency. Some remarkable achievements include the introduction of a new driving license system and a new vehicle registration system had been introduced. The DVLA is also trying to digitalize its vehicle records to ensure seamless flow of information between the Ghana Police Service, the National Insurance Commission, and other state agencies in line with the agenda of trying to digitize that as part of the government agenda. Vehicle records from 1995 to 2016 and 2017 to 2019 have gone through the process, while records from 2019 to 2021 is currently ongoing. I am aware that the Ghana Police Service is also trying to bring some automation into traffic enforcement regime system. They are going to introduce a system called Traffic Tech to improve compliance to road safety regulations. In addition, a new database device has been introduced that allows the DVLA and the MTTD to perform its compliance rules in the field and identify recalcitrant drivers on the spot. The aviation sector. For the aviation sector, government vision is to make Ghana an aviation hub within the sub-region. Pursuant to this, the then Minister of Aviation implemented a number of policy initiatives, programs, and projects. Major infrastructure facelifts have been undertaken at various airports. The Kumasi and the Tamale airport are currently being upgraded to international status. The Kumasi Airport Phase 2 and Phase 3 is 92 and 37.8% complete. A test run for a new terminal. We are going to do a test run for the terminal by the first quarter of next year. And the test run will take maximum between 4 to 6 months for us to make sure that the terminal will be ready for the use when other infrastructure projects that we are going through, that's the runway and other things, are all completed. So from the first quarter of next year, we are going to start the test run for the terminal at the Kumasi Airport. Furthermore, the first phase the expansion works at Tamale Airport is about 72% complete. And when it is completed, we are also going to fly international flight from Tamale to other parts of the world. It is expected that works at both Kumasi and Tamale will be completed next year. Furthermore, the first phase of the Sunyani Airport rehabilitation works is also nearing completion. The second phase will begin next year. In respect of the Y Airport, it is worthy to note that the communication mast obstructing flight path at Y Airport has been relocated to allow commercial operations to Y. For the whole airport, construction works have been fully completed and navigation equipment, including control tower, have been installed. On the 15th of April this year, I think that it was historic, African World made a trip, organized a historic test flight to Ho Airport. It is our expectation that commercial services will soon commence to Ho. As part of government policy to establish an airport or airstrips in each part of our regions to boost tourism and trade, at times it is also good that you should have your questions in your pocket so that when you come here you can easily ask. Because like Azuma Nelson said, whenever I'm going to a boxing ring, I have the referee in my pocket. So the gentleman who asked a question about Buankra, I think that, like you rightly said, Buankra has been in the books since January, but I think that we've made a significant headway towards. You can't hear me. I think that for Buankra, you have made a significant headway. We are going through the process. I think that the concession, Parliament approved the concession. If you want me to go through the processes, the president indeed cut the sword for the project. We are not going to run away. And within every contract, there are terms that we need to certify before the actual construction can start. And the projects are delayed a bit. I think I have to be fair and concede to the fact, because per the arrangement, we were supposed to have started the actual construction by, I think, October last year. But because of the COVID, the same contract also gives way that if it is that there's a reason why we can also extend the period for them to finish their financial closure. So we gave them extra, I think, 3 months or 4 months. And per all what you've seen and per what is going on, I think that I can safely say that the project will start in earnest, because the last stage, which is the environmental assessment project they need to do with the community, is going to be held, I think, about next week or something. They've gone through the local consultant, everything is done. So now we have no excuse in delaying. Once that process is completed, the process of engaging the community about the environmental assess needs, because once this project is going to go on, there's going to be 1 or 2 issues that we all need to confront it. And I think that we should let the community know. And that is what the consultant and the concessionaire is going to engage the worker. And once that is done, I think the actual construction. So for Buankra, I think that we've done well, and the actual construction will start in earnest. For home-based career, yeah, it is true that we are engaging some strategic partners. We've mentioned Egypt, they are part of that. We've mentioned other companies. Now we've engaged about four or five companies. But it will be unfair. Something that I have not sent to cabinet for me to count, I'm going to choose company A or company B. So I think that when I go to cabinet with the cabinet memo, we will then assess these 4 companies. Then out of that, we will select one. But looking at the timeline that we set for ourselves, all things being equal, by the middle of next year, this home-based career should be in place. Thank you. Now we come back to KIA. Is that how much is it costing us? I don't have, you see, I'm talking to the media, and you people, you like pinning people. Minister, you said the other day that the airport is costing 1 billion. So, but I can tell you that for the Sinyoni one, the first phase is costing about 48.9 million, which is the runway, the regrab of the runway, and other things. The second phase, which is going to be the continuation of the runway and the building of a new terminal, is going to cost us about $36 million. That's what I can say about terminal. For whole, it costs about $35 million. The Accra for Terminal 3, I think you know already, it costs us about over $400 million, $275 million. But with the new apron that we are building, it's costing an additional, the northern apron in Kotoka, about almost $60 million, the new apron that we are, because we need that one, because the fight to our domain is increasing, and at times, parking space has become a problem. So we need to expand it, because ICAO comes back to assess it every year, depending on the traffic that we have and available infrastructure space that we have for these airlines to enable them park comfortably. So we need to spend another between $50 to $60 million constructing this apron, this northern apron, to give way, to give them comfortable space for them to park their airline. So that's about for Tamale and for Takoradi and Cape Coast, or one airport that we are going to build, the two, the feasibility studies will then determine, because we are not done yet. The FS will come out with the level of infrastructure and the cost that we need to put in place in building. So for Takoradi and Cape Coast, or the one in between, I think that you must give me time for the feasibility studies to be completed. Then the cost element will be there, based on the infrastructure that we need to put in place for these areas. For road traffic, Madam, I'll consult the Minister for roads, because it is his domain to determine whether he's going to bring in new road toll or not. I'll consult him to find out if he has any plans in increasing the road toll. But for now, I don't have any information from him that it is going to. But once you have that question, I've written it down. I will consult him to find out. And the next time, maybe I'll pass through the information through the Minister for Information to you. Thank you for that. So basically, I think that is that. Somebody was asking about the traffic situation. Yes, once again, the police, like I said, we cannot enforce traffic situation now without technology. And one of the means that the police is going to help us in enforcing this traffic of technology is to bring technology. That's why they are introducing this traffic tech. And I'm trying to appeal to the media that when the police bring this program into place, please support them. Like I said, we may come with all the laws and all the policies, but the state authority, which has the right or the mandate to enforce regulation, is the police, and we must all support them. They may make mistakes here and there. I don't have any problem with it, but we need to support the police to make sure that at least they protect our lives. Through now, our roads are not safe, and I have to concede. That's why we are bringing all these measures to make sure that we reduce the fatalities on our road. Asked if the funding of this project is a combination of funding arrangement. Some are by the private sector and some are by the government. If we look at the Terminal 3 that we build at Tema Port, it's a combination between government and the private sector. That's the GPHA, MESC, and Borari. What we call the MPS, build the Tema Terminal 3. For Takoradi, the multi-purpose terminal is being built by the Ghanaians, Ibistek, costing them between $250 million and $350 million. That is the project that President introduced. When we came, you realized that all the port infrastructure activities, there were little indigenous Ghanaian business people involved. So President took a decision that, look, we cannot develop these infrastructures without bringing in Ghanaian business people. So we need to encourage them. So we supported them, and now they put up that magnificent edifice in Takoradi. For the landing site, the cost is borne by government. It's a loan facility from the Chinese government at $208 million. So if you look at the port infrastructure facility, as we are doing, with a combination of GOG and private sector. The second question talks about piracy and what? Water, yes. Let me deal with the piracy. It is true. If we look about West Africa today, the Gulf of Guinea is the most dangerous zone in the world. It counts for about 94% of the world piracy issues in the world. But we, as a country, cannot fight piracy alone within the Gulf of Guinea. So we need a collaboration with other West African countries and other development partners. So if you watch, we are now collaborating more with other people within the South region. Our Navy is now being equipped. The GMA is now up and doing. That's the Ghana Maritime Authority, who is responsible to oversee this marine, which is responsible to regulate the marine activities within our waters. They are also up and doing, but the challenge is enormous. And I will not stand here and say that we can solve all our problems today. The Navy is doing its part, the national security is doing, but the military itself, we are also doing our part. But we need the collaboration from other West African countries. Thankfully, I have taken over as the chair for Maritime Organization of Central and West Africa. And it's one of the concerns that I have tabled with my other colleague ministers in Central and West Africa. We are about 25 countries. We are coming out with policies and programs to make sure that we collaborate more rather than individual countries trying to say that I want to protect my territory. It doesn't work like that. And I think I have to concede that we need to do more, and we are doing our best. So next month, we are going to have our first emergency session in Ghana to come out the way we think that we need to be proactive, we need to do more. And I'm using this medium to invite the media to come and listen to the programs that we are doing. For water transport, I think GPHA, that is Ghana Port and Harbour Authority, started some negotiation with some private sector people to make sure that we do water transport business in this country. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, and the private sector, when they think that there's something which is impeding, they are moving forward, they retreat. And they retreated a bit. But my information is that now the COVID has started going down, we started showing interest again. For Water Lake, I think I said something about the Water Lake. That's why we are bringing the Water Lake Improvement Project. Because if you look about over 2 million people living on the Water Lake, that's the only major source of transportation system for them. That's why government is improving the water system for them. Because if you don't have effective water system on the lake, it means that over 2 million people, their movement is going to be something else. So I think that is why we are removing the tree stumps. That is why we are partnering the Korea Exim Bank to bring in these vessels and build landing sites, reception areas, and other facilities to make sure that we made the transportation system on the Water Lake very effective and comfortable for the people. Public transportation system. In the rural areas, yes. Public transport services in this country is mainly by the private sector. It accounts for about 95%. So am I right? About 95% of the public transport system is by the private sector. Government only accounts for about 5%. That is why when President Kojo came, or President Kojo was in power, he made sure that he brought in this metro mass transit system. Unfortunately, for some reasons, it started going down. But since we took over, we're trying on our own to make sure that we get enough buses for them, because that's the only way as a government we can force them and say that go here. We cannot force the private sector to say that go to this place. But once we have a public mass transportation system which is owned by government, then government may then direct where that bus to go. Unfortunately, at the time that we took off it, we didn't have enough buses. That's why we made an attempt of trying to revamp the fleet of this organization. Like I said, we gave them 200 buses. This year we are adding another 100. I know that MMT on its own is often having an arrangement with the private sector people to do another 200 buses. So all things being equal, if you're able to get these buses, then you will be able to channel or be able to direct where the buses go. Like the gentleman said, it's true. Where I come from, it got a point in time that if you don't get metro mass, I'm sure it's going to be difficult for you to go to my village. So I think it's something that we are very serious about it. But it takes time. We cannot just get up one day. We do our procurement process. We know that the process that we need to go through in order to get some of these things done. But I think that for metro mass, there are good signs ahead of them. They are getting these 100 buses from the Belgium government. They are also getting, I know that they are also having an arrangement, also trying to get another 200 buses. So if you have enough, if you're able to renew their fleet for them, then you'll be able to do some of this allocation. But I think it's a challenge to us that, and we are trying on our own as much as possible to make sure that we have enough buses to go to these remote areas, which without the metro must to be difficult to add the private sector person to go. Transport fares. Yes, since we took over, I think that the transport industry has become a little bit stabilized because, so far as we are concerned, there's a regime. There's an arrangement between government and the transport operators, especially GPRTU and Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, that any time that fuel hits beyond certain percentage, we sit down to make sure that they don't charge arbitrary prices. And since we took over, I think the arrangement has been followed without any problem. And I think the transport operators themselves are very much aware that whenever we hit, they come, we talk, and we don't make. But in this industry, where regulation is a little bit difficult, you will get one or two people who go on their way trying to bulldoze their way to do the wrong thing. But generally, I think the transport operators have been very disciplined. They've been fine with us. We don't charge transport fares. We sit down with them and to make sure that the arrangement that they put in place is followed. We don't show that they don't charge arbitrary price. And that's all. So I'm not worried about somebody saying that they say they are going to charge from next month. They know the procedure that they need to follow. And let me say that since I took office as a minister, they followed that procedure. I thank them very much for their cooperation. They've cooperated with the government. Like I said, you have one or two people who will say one or two things. But for me, generally, I think they're very cooperative. And I know that when the time comes that they think that they need to come with them, they will come for you to sit down and talk. So I'm very comfortable that if they will come, they will come. They will come to us for us to have a discussion. For DVLA, once again, the issue comes back to enforcing regulation. That is what I pleaded with you, that let's support the police to make sure that these sort of things do not happen on our road. Because DVLA, yes, they register the car. When they come, they will have the correct seat in it. You register them. Like you said, the drivers, some of them will go and remove it and fix another seat. Then the issue then now moves away from DVLA to the police who are ensuring safety and other things on the road. So for police, I think it's important that no matter how we see them, we should support them. We should support them in all these areas. They may make a mistake here and there, but we need them to protect us. And it's a duty of the police to make sure that some of these things are not done. So I think that there again, we need to support the police to make sure that they enforce regulation. Plan development of Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. We have put in place certain systems that to make sure that you put up all these infrastructures along our coastal areas. And we do so based on navigation. I'm coming, I'll come to that point. We do so based on navigation, based on certain radars. And if we look about this landing site and the port that we are building, we are within our master plan policy. We haven't deviated at all. Any time that we are going to build either a port or landing site in any community, we do it based on the activity that goes on within that area. And we bring the community along with us. Try to do stakeholder engagement. We go to the fisher folk, let them understand about the facility that we are putting in place and the need for them to do that facility. That is what, if you look at our master plan policy, we have what we call phase 1 development, and we go to phase 2. The phase 2 was tended to on the Water Lake and other places. And so far, I think that the movement of these fisher folks, at times we cannot really pin them to one place because they move. And whenever they have their catch, if there's any port or landing site closer to them, they are entitled to use it. So once you put in a facility at your village or in your town or in Mavi, it doesn't belong to you alone. It belongs to the catchment area based on the activities of the fisher folks. So that is what it is. Somebody was asking of road accident. I said it here, that I will not behave as an ostrich. That we have a major problem on our hands. And that is why we all need to come together to make sure that, one, the police, again, it is important. They are the ones enforcing this regulation. And also look at the institutions which are responsible to make sure that they put in place certain measures. That is what, when we came, President felt that if you look about the status of National Road Safety Commission and the mandate, is not enough, significant enough to do the huge task that we've given to them. So the first thing we need to look at is to change it from a commission into an authority with an enhanced powers to enforce certain regulations. That's what today, the National Road Safety Authority, as it is today, is going to regulate the transport sector. It is going to enforce that those who are supposed to put in place safety measures, if you are not able to put in place, they will surcharge you. For instance, if Minister for Roads and Highways build a road and they don't put landmarks on it, the National Road Safety Authority can surcharge them for that. They can even force them not to use the road until those road marks are. But we are not going to get this thing one day to be resolved. Like I said, the challenges that we met are enormous. There must be a gradual way to resolve some of these institutional challenges that we are facing. That is why today we've seen the enforcement of 2180 is becoming a challenge. So let us review the law again, the 2180, the regulation, which is giving power to DVLA and National Road Safety. We need to look at that. That's why we are consulting the stakeholders to see which part of the regulation that one is outmoded, two, it cannot be enforced, and three, if there's modern technology or anything new that we need to introduce to help us put our foot on this canker, we are doing it. So please, once again, I'm inviting you, take interest in some of this things that we are doing. Put that on our toes, and I'm sure based on the collective effort that you all put in place, you will be able to resolve. So the road accident is a major issue. One, that's why the police is bringing the traffic tech, because they've seen that we cannot enforce road regulation alone with human factor. We need to introduce or bring in technology to enable you to enforce some of these things. So basically, that is where we are.
On Tuesday, the 2nd of November 2021, His Excellency the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, would lead a town hall and interactive meeting with students of Ashesi University at the Ashesi University College, Brekusu, in the eastern region. It will take place at 5:30 p.m. and will be carried live on a number of television, online, and radio networks across the country. The focus of this town hall and interactive meeting with the students of Ashesi University will be on the digitization agenda of the country. It will give them an opportunity to outline details of work done so far on the Akufo-Addo administration's digitization agenda and the outstanding works. It will also give His Excellency the Vice President the opportunity to speak to the impact of the digitization agenda on public services and in particular on doing business. It will give him an opportunity to respond to questions from students and other stakeholders on the government's digitization program, and it will also give him an opportunity to take feedback for improved action. So that's just a quick announcement for you. Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, 5:30 p.m. Ashesi University College. His Excellency the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. A second update that I have for you very quickly. The last time we had a press briefing with the Ghana Maritime Authority, there were questions about Mr. Emmanuel Essien, who was reported missing on a vessel, and we committed that we would get some feedback for you. I wrote a letter under my signature to the Inspector General of Police, and they have responded and have brought in the Attorney General's Department. I'll share a copy with you, but just to give you a quick update. The police has completed their investigations. That's the Tema Police. They've completed their investigations, and they've sent a duplicate case docket to the Attorney General's Department for study and advice. But the Attorney General's Department, upon study, directed that they needed to do further interrogation of some 3 persons. One, Isaac Kojo, one, Jiwonu Ahiable, and one, Anthony Asiedu. They have gone further to do the further interrogation and have submitted this updated investigative report to the Attorney General's Department. And in the next about 3 weeks, the Attorney General's Department will come out with its final advice on this docket. So as we committed, we'll follow up and then we'll share the feedback with you. Those are just the 2 quick bits of information that I wanted to give to you. Thank you very much.